Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you how I made this gong sleeve. So if you are new here, kindly subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So these are the materials I'll be using. Basically, I have my bridal satin, the lining, the boning, my scissors, my tape, and also my paper stay. So for this sleeve, you can decide not to use your paper stay on both the lining and interfacing, but we'll be doing that. And you can also decide not to use your boning. Here I have with me my sewable boning, the one you can sew on. So the first thing you'll be needing is your basic sleeve pattern. I've gone ahead to draft mine. If you need more knowledge on this, kindly check the video on my channel. I measured the round arm measurement. I added 2 inches and I got the sleeve depth, and then I just did the armhole line and we have our sleeve. So we're going to be using this particular pattern to cut out on the main fabric we'll be using for the gong sleeve. So with me, I have my bridal satin and my lining. I've already gone ahead to iron my interfacing on both of them, so I'll just be explaining what I did here. So the initial basic sleeve was 13 inches, but I went ahead to add 1 inch on the lower part for stitching allowance, and then I added 4 inches upwards for the puff I'll be needing for the sleeve, and then I added 7 inches extra by the side. So I'm just cross checking with my tape to make sure that everything is equal. So we have 14 inches length, and then we have 4 inches on the upper part for the puff sleeve. You can add as much as 5 inches or 6 inches. It all depends on how high you want your sleeve to be puffy. You can make use of a pin to hold down your pattern on your paper. It's better that way than the way you see me holding it down this way. And then you have to ignore the front and the back armhole because it's not really necessary for this sleeve. So I added 7 inches on as the extra sleeve to give it that wideness. You can add as much as 5 inches, even as much as 10 inches. It all depends on how wide you want yours to be. So we're done cross-checking our measurements. Here you can see I've ironed my paper stay already, and on the lining as well. I had to do with a lot of managing, that's why it looks this way. It's better to manage on your lining fabric than on the main fabric. So the next thing I'm going to do is to use my boning to sew on the lower part of the sleeve. I'm going to go up by about 3 to 4 inches so it doesn't stay on the edge of my stitching. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. So we're done sewing it, and this is what it looks like. I went up with about 2.5 inch at the end of the day, and yes, I've gone ahead to stitch it down. Ignore the line you see above. I was hoping I was going to stitch my boning on that part as well, but it wasn't enough. But you can do that on your own pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn my fabric facing the right sides facing each other, and then go ahead and stitch the lower part. I'm going to sew the lower part to close the sleeve, and I cut the lining shorter so that by the time I'm done stitching, it's going to fold up the bridal satin a bit. I'm going to stitch it and show you what I have. So we're done stitching it here. I've stitched it and I've gone ahead to top stitch it again. So you have to give it a good press. I'm going to have to go and press mine again so it looks very neat. So after doing that, I'm going to pleat the upper part of the sleeve. You can go ahead and gather the upper part, but for this one I'll be pleating it, and then I'm going to close the side so it gives me a neat finishing when I'm done stitching the sleeve. So before I go ahead with my stitching, I'm just going to measure my armhole measurements. My armhole depth of 9 inches, and then I'm going to place my chalk and mark it there. That's where I'm going to stop my pleating or your gathers. Wherever your armhole stops, that's where you stop it. And then I'm going to give it a notch so that by the time I'm pleating it, I know where to start and where to stop. this upper part, and then I'll show you the results.
What is getting deep now? Follow me around.
So I'm done pleating it, and the sleeve is already coming to shape. As you can see, I've sewn this part and the other part as well, so that by the time I'm done sewing it looks neat. So I've gone ahead to pleat it. If you like, you can pleat them separately, or you can just put them together like I did and pleat it as one. Our sleeve is already coming to shape even before fixing it on the armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do is close the allowance part and join it to the main sleeve. We have basically come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, kindly subscribe, kindly share. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment sections. I'll appreciate them, and if you have any contributions as well. Thank you.